What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here. Here we are again. After a run of very average results, bad performances leading to okay results, maybe winning by one goal, beating these teams that we should be easily beating. We're narrowly winning, we're drawing, we're losing a couple. All these kind of average results and average performances. And here we are again, getting embarrassed by another London club. Except this time it's not Tottenham on a good run. It's not Tottenham doing well, playing well. No, this is Arsenal on a bad run beat us. Not just beat us, they embarrassed us today. Like, really bad. We were awful. Arsenal honestly played well. I'll give them credit. They did play well. They took their chances. But we let them have that game. We did not do a thing today. And what does it come down to? Once again, Sarri and his tactics, the players he decides to play. It's ridiculous. I mean, you look at this game, it's so obvious. You got Jorginho, awful. Alonso, awful. David Luiz, back to his same old self today. Willian, not giving you anything. Hazard, out of position again. Conte, still out of position, has been all season. You've got all of these issues, and nothing's changing. Same thing, over and over and over and over and over again. And Arsenal, on a bad run of form, take it to us today. We had one shot on target. We created nothing today. I mean, literally almost nothing was created by us. We were awful, and it comes down to, Sarri's not going to change anything. We're playing the exact same way we have since the beginning of the season. We had a bad run of results. Sarri refuses to change. Teams are like, oh, okay, thanks. You don't want to change anything? We'll just watch one game, and we'll know exactly how to play against you. We can't create chances because Sarri doesn't want to change his formation. It's not suiting the players that we have. But no. He's not changing anything. And guess what? You know what? I've talked about this all season long. I've talked about it and talked about it and talked about it to death. If you really want to find out what the problem is, go watch one of my past reviews. I can tell you, I've said it all season. Jorginho's not good enough. Alonso's not good enough. David Luiz is not good enough. Hazard does not need to be a false nine. Willian's not good enough this season. Conte needs to be in the defensive mid position. Boom, there you go. There's all your problems. I've said it all season. Bye. See you at the next game. Of course, I'm not going to leave it there because, first of all, this is a review where I'm supposed to talk about more stuff. But aside from that, the one thing that I really wanted to bring up, because I noticed this, and I honestly, when I saw the game, I wanted to make it just a quick review like that. I just wanted to be like, boom, I've said it all season, the same problems all season long. I mean, it's obvious. Honestly, going into this game, when this happened, I was not surprised. Because, I mean, let's be honest, every game has this possibility of us getting blown out and just absolutely dominated because we have that mentality this year, and two, we have these tactics to where it makes it very difficult for us to create chances. So if we give up goals, there's a good chance we're not getting back into it. That's why when Sarri said, oh, no, we can come back after the first leg of the Tottenham result, I don't see that happening. We're not scoring 2 goals against Tottenham. We can barely score 2 goals against Newcastle. So yeah, I mean, it's clear to me that we are not going to win games where we give up multiple goals. Or even if we give up 1 goal against some of the top teams, we're not winning those games. So with that being said, though, I did want to bring up Sarri's post-match press conference because this part irked me. The game itself didn't really bother me because I've dealt with this just half and half performance. I've dealt with this just terrible creativity up front, no attacking threat, even though Sarri was supposed to make us an attacking threat. You know, dealing with the players like Jorginho, who are terrible, and Alonso, who are terrible, yet continue to get playing time over other players who deserve it. I've dealt with that all season. I'm used to it by now. But what really irked me, here is the post-match press conference, exactly Sarri's words. So this is on the Twitter account. It says, Sarri starts with a message to his players. I'm extremely angry, very angry indeed. This defeat was due to our mentality. I can't accept it. We had a similar issue against Tottenham in the league. It appears this group of players are extremely difficult to motivate. Okay, first of all, it's not down to mentality completely. Maybe about 40-30% is the mentality. Yes, our players are mentally weak this year. And it's shown. There have been several games where we've gone down and we have not shown any sort of fight back. So I can agree with that. But why is that happening this year? Because I can promise you, under Mourinho and under Conte, there were games where we went down and boom, we're back at it. Now, we did occasionally have our mentally weak games, but for the most part, we fought back. We were not a club that just sat back and like, oh, this is tough. I don't want to do this. Only under Sarri has this started. So what is he doing that has caused us to be mentally fragile? So aside from the fact that, no, it's not that we were mentally weak. It's a lot more than that. I do have to ask how much of that is Sarri's fault. Because this is the first year where this has been happening almost all year. Every game, it seems like we are just on the verge of collapsing. And it hasn't happened since only when he was the manager. That was the only time that we've been like this. And it's pretty much the same type of players, too. So, yeah, I'm going to throw that to the side for a second, though, because he goes on to say, from a technical point of view, both teams were on the same sort of level, but they had a higher level of determination in both penalty areas, so tactics don't come into it. Hold on to that for a second. I can't possibly say I am not partly responsible for the defeat. We have to share it. Okay, so he's willing to take some of the blame. Quick question. So, higher level of determination in the penalty areas. Has that not been our season? If you watch the games that we play, have we not every single game just lacked determination to get into the box and attack balls? How many times this year have I said we look awful on set pieces, both sides, because we don't attack it defensively and we don't attack it on the other side of offensively? We do not attack the ball. We are not a team this year that is like, oh yeah, that's mine, I'm going to win that. Aside from maybe like a few, I can think of several instances where teams beat us to the ball on both sides of it. So, yeah, this has been an issue. It's not today's game where, oh, no, they just had more determination in the box. No, every game has been that, and that, again, hasn't started it started when Sarri came in. Because tactically, you can see Sarri ball, which is supposed to be so effective, is all about pass. Keeping possession, pass, around the box. So, you're playing your tactics. They're playing what you want them to do. They're keeping possession. They're moving the ball around outside the box. But I haven't seen at all this year a determination to get inside the box, to really attack in there and try to go. So, unless Sarri ball is, I'm misunderstanding it, and it actually is supposed to look like that, and they're just not doing that right. But it seems like, to me, our players this year are more likely to pass it off to somebody else or pass sideways than they are to go forward with it. And that started under Sarri. So, I mean, I'm not saying in the past that we haven't had, like Mourinho would tend to keep a lot of possession right outside the box, but it felt like more they were waiting for an opportunity to attack. With Sarri, it feels like they would much rather just pass it off to somebody else than actually have a shot or try to find that really cutting-edge ball. So, once again, tactics doesn't come into it. Right, of course, tactics don't come into it, even though it feels like tactically you set us up to not get in the box and be determined in there. Then, you get to this last one. And this one, honestly, I had to say something to. I replied because I just couldn't hold it in. This one pissed me off. This is not a team that is going to be well known for its battling qualities, but we need to become a team that is capable of adapting. Possibly suffering for 10 or 15 minutes and then playing our own football. Today we didn't play our own football. Okay. Not capable of adapting. I swear he is trolling us. I swear he came in with the mindset of, oh, I hate this Chelsea club. I'm going to go in, I'm going to ruin it. And now he's just rubbing our faces in it. Because that comment right there, not capable of adapting, when you've literally done the exact same thing, the exact same tactics, the exact same lineup, aside from one or two players, the back four has always been the same every single game. Except for like the one where we had three games in a week. Aside from that week, every single game, the back four is the same. The three in the middle, the only one that ever changes is Barkley will sometimes come on. Kovacic will sometimes go off. But Conte and Jorginho, constant. Even when Jorginho's playing terribly, still in there. The front three, you've got Hazard, Willian, Pedro will most of the time play in some form Whether it's the three of them up front or you throw in a striker with two of those, that's been the case this whole season, except for that 1 week. And he threw on Hudson-Odoi. Actually, did he even start that game? I don't remember him doing that. I think actually he came on for Pedro in that one. But, nothing changes. You look at the subs every single game, like clockwork, 60-something minute, Barkley on for Kovacic. Even in a game where you're down 2-0, what is his sub? Barkley for Kovacic. The exact same thing like clockwork. And honestly, I half expected him to bring on Giroud last. Even though we're down 2 goals, I half expected him to go, all right, now let's see, Hudson-Odoi goes on. Or honestly, I thought Emerson might go in, but thankfully he did give Hudson-Odoi his time. I was like, let me guess, Hudson-Odoi on now for Willian. And then with like 5 minutes left in, we'll throw on Giroud and hope for the best. Like, you're down 2 goals at halftime, no less. There should have been a sub at halftime, but no, that's not the Sarri way. And that right there, that comment in his post-match press conference, that was the final straw for me. Like, obviously, I've already been calling for his head. I've already been calling for him to move on because he's not good enough. He's not good enough as a manager. He doesn't know how to adapt to situations. It's the same thing every game. He doesn't see the problem players that need to be taken out of the starting lineup. He doesn't see that he's not using Conte effectively. He's not using Hazard effectively. He doesn't see any of that. So clearly, he's not a good manager. I've seen that. I've seen that all season. From the beginning, it looked okay at first because teams weren't sure how to play, but then they figured us out, and ever since then, I've just been saying, all right, see, this is why it's not going to work. This is why he's not going to work, because he's stubborn. He doesn't change. He doesn't make changes. He doesn't adapt to situations. So I've been on a kind of a rant. And if you watch my videos, obviously, I have a few that I haven't uploaded, but if you've been watching my videos, you know that's how I feel for the longest time. This right here, this should be the last straw for a lot of Chelsea fans. I said something about it on Facebook. Sure enough, all these Chelsea fans, oh, you just got to give him time. Oh, you're such a plastic fan. Oh, look, plastic fan means somebody that is going to support the club whenever it's convenient. Somebody who's going to, oh yeah, I love Chelsea when they're winning. I love this club with all of my heart. I grew up supporting this club. I loved watching it. I grew up in the years where it was fun to watch. Before Mourinho kind of became a bit of a cartoon of himself. Back in those days. Back when we had like Good Johnson and Hasselbank and Zola and Duff and I'm trying to think, Essien. We had Makelele. We had Lampard. We had Terry. We had all of these great players, and it was so much fun to watch. I grew up with that. And through all the years, through all the different incarnations of the team, the players that came in, came out, some of the off years, some of the bad years, I was through that too. And did I get frustrated with the manager? Yeah, of course. This is the first time where I feel like I'm not watching Chelsea. I feel like I'm not watching the club that I've come to love after all these years. Because Sarri has taken our club and made us a joke. Because it's not entertaining. It's not fun to watch. It's the same stuff every single game. I know what's going to happen. I can predict it. Pretty much 85% of the time, I can predict what's going to happen. And I'm not necessarily saying I can always predict whether it's going to be a win, loss, or draw, because sometimes you can't predict that. But it really does often come down to, do we finish our chances, the few that we get, and do they finish their chances, the few that we gift them? Because sometimes they do create their own chances, but oftentimes you look at the 2 goals today, first one comes off of a terrible corner routine that just happens to fall right to Lacazette. Alonso completely loses him and then steps in late. And when he finally does, Lacazette has a chance to touch, and then just powers it past Kepa like it was no problem. The second one, it was like watching a bunch of cones. I think it was off a corner, and then it gets cleared out, and then the next one that comes looping in, everybody's just standing and watching. Nobody's reacting, nobody's moving, everybody's just watching it all happen. And Koscielny's the only one that moved, and guess what? He scores because of it. That's not Chelsea. That is not the Chelsea that I know. It's like watching us be so defensively incapable this year. It makes me think, what have we done? What have we done bringing in this guy who has no idea what defense is? And it shows game after game after game because every single game we give up chances. We give up opportunities that we would never do in the past. Occasionally we would. Okay. I'm not going to say we never did. But, I mean, we were not this defensively just awful. When you've got Alonso and David Luiz on the same side, we are terrible. And what's really, really ironic is the fact that this game started off as soon as it started. The first 2-3 minutes, I could tell it was going to be a long game. I mean, unless something magical happened, which obviously it didn't, but you could see, I mean, David Luiz gives away the ball cheaply. Jorginho gave away the ball like 3 times cheaply. Alonso gives away the ball and it keeps losing track of his people. I mean, it was all there in the first 2 or 3 minutes. I'm like, okay, so we're starting off this game like we don't care. And look what happened. We got embarrassed. The entire 90 minutes, we got embarrassed by an Arsenal team that has been floundering recently. And then they came out and they said, you know what? We're tired of playing bad. Let's go out there and actually play well. And maybe, they're probably the better team, but maybe if we go out there and play well, maybe something will happen. And we just said, hey, you know what? We've been on a decent enough run. We haven't lost in a little while. It's fine. We can just go out there and do whatever. And then we get manhandled. And that's not good enough. It's not good enough. It hasn't been good enough for a while. This is the final straw, though. Beyond the fact that we were embarrassing today, beyond the fact that we only had one shot on target, and honestly, I mean, the one shot, which was, I think Barkley had a shot and Koscielny blocked it with his nuts, and then Alonso had one that bounced off the post. Those were the only 2 chances that we created. Aside from that, we didn't create a thing. It was a lot of possession outside the box. It was a lot of pass, bad pass gives it away. And guess what? A lot of that comes down to you've got problem players on the field. You've got players that give away the ball cheaply. And Alonso and Jorginho, honestly, sometimes in Conte, you've got players that are going to give the ball away. Willian too. I mean, they don't have any ideas. They just do the same stuff every single game, and players have figured them out. And now they're ineffective. They're not creative. They don't have that mindset. I'm watching some of the passes that Jorginho is giving away and thinking to myself, if that's Fabregas, that's right on their foot. He would have put the ball right where they needed it to be. They could have taken a great touch and had a shot. But it didn't happen because we've got Jorginho, not Fabregas. And Sarri continues to trust him every single game, despite the fact that he has done nothing since the beginning of the season. And even then, it was mainly just he was distributing pretty well. He was creating a lot of chances. He was getting on the ball a lot. So it felt like, okay, maybe he is sort of running the team right now. He's sort of the engine right now. But no, it wasn't that. It was just teams didn't know that he's a very fallible player. They were like, all right, let's just stand off. And you give him time, yeah, he's going to create dangerous chances. He's going to put some good passes together. But now teams are like, oh no, you just put a little pressure on him, he'll give the ball away. You put a little pressure on him, he'll have to pass it backwards or pass it sideways like he does 80% of the time now. It's not good enough. Conte playing out of position is not good enough because he's not doing what he's so effective in doing, which is winning the ball back. When you put him further up the field, he's not able to do that. On the ball, he's still not quite good enough to help us in games like this. In games against the lower teams, yeah, he'll do fine. But when you put him against better opposition, you put him against top 6 teams, he's not going to be as effective, and it shows. The only one was the Man City game, and he got a goal, and that was it. Aside from that, though, I don't remember much else in him in that game. Then you look at, I've talked about the back line, I think, a little bit already. Did I already talk about Alonso and David Luiz? I think I did. And then you go up front, and we already know Hazard's not a false 9. Because Mourinho tried that, Conte tried that. He's not a false 9. We know that. However, if you put him up there in a front 3, he's also still not as effective. Because the thing about this 4-3-3 formation is that the wings are so just not connected with the forward. They're out wide. They have to stay out there and provide the width. So now he's having to start from out wide, and yeah, even if there's a striker in there, sometimes it's effective, but he can't be as effective as if he were in the middle, starting from deep, and creating something. That is where we've seen him at his best. And yet we continue to try this formation that's not really providing any chances for us. And on top of that, let's just go ahead and talk about Willian, because I talked about, okay, maybe after the last game, maybe he's coming back into form. He played pretty well. He actually got a goal. Nope. Still the same. Still the exact same he's been all season. I don't know where his confidence is at. I do not know what he's doing, but he is clearly not the same player he's been in the past. Today, he made Bellerin look like a good player. Just let that sink in for a second. Hector Bellerin, who Hudson-Odoi manhandled in preseason, Willian made him look like a good defender. He could not get past him. Socrates outran him. I mean, that is embarrassing. And it's not good enough. And Pedro kind of isolated out there, tried, he gave an effort. I'll give him that. But yeah, he's just not effective without somebody else to play off of. And Hazard normally isn't there to play off of. So we need a striker in there. But they won't play Giroud. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, but Higuain's coming in. Once that happens, then it'll all click. No, it won't. Because we still have Alonso in defense, who is going to give up chances and is going to give the ball away. We'll still have David Luiz, who occasionally will have a good ball over the top, but defensively very errant. We'll still have Jorginho, who gives the ball away and is not good enough defensively and isn't providing us anything in the midfield. We'll still have Conte out of position. We'll still have Hazard having to come off of the wing instead of coming in from deep and trying to create something with the striker. He'll still be playing Willian over Pedro and Hudson-Odoi because he loves Willian for some reason and hates Hudson-Odoi for some reason and wants him to go to Bayern because he will not give him time. It's not going to change anything. His first sub is still going to be Barkley on for Kovacic. His second sub is still going to be another like-for-like change, whether it's swapping the wings or swapping the striker. It's going to be something like that, and nothing's going to change, even with Higuain coming in. And honestly, I don't know if Higuain's going to be the player we need to change our season. I don't know if he's going to be good enough to do it all on his own. Because we've even seen from Giroud, he did well at first, but now the teams have figured out the tactics, they don't let him have the ability to flick it on anymore. They don't let him have time to settle it. They put pressure on him instantly because they realized, oh, hey, I get it. They send the ball up to him, and then he lays it off for the people around him. And that's what worked for a while. But teams figured that out, and now they're just like, all right, so we'll let him have possession, but we'll cover the people around him. Now he can't do anything, and we'll just have one person ready to take the ball off him. And that's what started happening. And Sarri's not adjusting for it. He's not giving any other options. So, yeah. That's honestly all of my thoughts. I realize this turned into a very long video after I hoped it would be short. But, I mean, let's be honest. This is not good enough. It's not been good enough. Sarri has to change. He hasn't. He's had plenty of opportunities. There's been plenty of examples of why and how he should change, and he hasn't done it. And this is just another example. As I said, I was not mad or surprised or really shocked. Well, surprised, shocked, I just used the same word twice. I'm a little tired. It's a little late. But, I mean, honestly, this did not come as a surprise to me. When you watch those first 2 minutes, it's like, okay, so it's going to be one of those games. Because you can really tell. The first 2 or 3 minutes, you can really tell what type of game it's going to be for us. Either we get a goal early, it's like, okay, so it's going to be a game where we hold on and really, eke out a win. Or in the first 2 or 3 minutes, if we give away an early goal or if we just give away a bunch of passes that were really sloppy, it's like, all right, so it's going to be one of those games where we just give up chances and aren't able to create anything because we're just not good enough under Sarri. So, yep. All that being said, those are my thoughts. So let me know what you think down in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on Sarri? Should he be kept or should he be sacked? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next game. Peace out.